are different from other interviews. They need to be. There's far more at stake. As key as candidates' knowledge and skills and experience and track record are, it's vital that the interview process also evaluates the candidate's personal qualities, and especially because we need to ensure the right cultural fit. It's this fit that leads to a productive resonance between the candidate and the rest of the executive team. Getting to know, and I do mean really know a candidate, takes time. However, that's time that is well spent, in my opinion. Stage 4, and we're going to do all steps 7, 8, 9, and 10 very quickly. Our philosophy is to make it easy for candidates to find out about the opportunity. Everything we've just talked about makes it really easy for them to find out about the opportunity, but we make it challenging for them to win the position. In order for talent assessment to reveal the authentic person, it's got to be multidimensional, it's got to be structured, planned in advance, and executed with rigor. And if you think this will scare off candidates, it won't. It's been our understanding that a very demanding interview process garners the respect of Tier 1 talent. So the exact opposite of what you might think. These next 4 steps will surface your ideal candidate quickly and ensure they are authentic. You've done most of the heavy lifting already. Now, in terms of process assessment, it's part art and part science, and it's a good idea to slow down and go through this slowly here. May the force be with you always precedes great drama on screen, but relying on the force or your gut is inadequate when the stakes are this high. Yoda aside, we don't want drama. We just want to interview the best talent. Our process assessment is a dry run that validates the parameters of the position profile in advance of taking this search project to the marketplace. In other words, we're going to find someone and do an interview and then assess ourselves and how well we did after that interview and how close we are to the mark with that candidate. This dry run helps to significantly shorten the overall duration of the search by enabling the search team to fine-tune both the recruiting process and the candidate qualifications if anything needs to be changed. For the process assessment, we select a benchmark candidate to test and refine the hiring blueprint. We conduct a full interview to ensure an accurate understanding of the ideal candidate is fully understood by the recruiter and the search chair. We adjust wherever is necessary. This eliminates time wasting, and it also eliminates us spending any time with people that we don't want them to know that we have a search going on. Very important these days. Now, after the interview, we also advise the search chair on possible blind spots that they have by providing feedback on their interview skills. So they go into this unbiased. It's very important. And the science part of this is we use psychometric tools, including the bar on EQI and the tools of Great People Inside. Which tool we use depends on a lot of different factors, but assessment tools are designed to look under the hood, and that's what we do early in the process. Now, no two companies are the same, and the traditional one-size-fits-all approach doesn't work well. We found that Great People Inside's platform can account for both your organization's uniqueness and its greatness, because what works for one Fortune 500 company may not work for an enterprising startup. Do you prep your hiring manager and your search committee? You should. It's a well-known fact that candidates engage coaches to help them fine-tune their interview performance. Well, we provide that coaching advantage to the search committee. At each step in the interview process, the search chair, the hiring manager, and the search committee are coached on how best to articulate the organization's needs and its success stories to capture the interest and attention of the candidate, given the candidate's unique background. And all those who will meet any of the candidates are coached on how to emotionally connect with each of the candidates. Nothing is left to chance. This is an audition for you as well. Here's where all your hard work comes together. In terms of absolute numbers, we have a five-phase gated assessment. And in terms of absolute numbers, it's common to take 100 or more people through the talent excitement phase that we just talked about, where prospective candidates review the position profile and then receive the confidential candidate brief, and we have an initial call. But we'll bring that list down to maybe a dozen people. And this is where the assessment begins to get fun. The inside-out approach's 5-stage interview process is designed to systematically assess and remove candidates from consideration without delay and reserve the more sensitive information only for finalist candidates. And we avoid the black hole syndrome that we've all heard so much about the last couple of decades by providing immediate feedback to all candidates. Typically, a dozen candidates will be brought to the interview stage. That's what we just talked about. All candidates start with a face-to-face recruiter interview with two recruiters. One recruiter asks the questions, the other one acts as a scribe. And during the first interview, we examine their personal story, their fit, their communication skills, their leadership skills, and adaptability. If the recruiter agrees, then the candidate proceeds to a search chair interview. And typically this may be 3 to 5 people out of that 12. At this point, we know the candidate has the skills, they've got the abilities and interest, and we know the fit is correct because of the benchmark interview previously done in step 7. Now we dig into their interpersonal skills, drill into their confidential candidate brief to make sure it's real, and examine closely their previous success and failures. The search chair helps hone in on the 3 best candidates who meet the hiring manager for the hiring interview. At this point, the candidate interviews with the lead recruiter, the search chair, and the hiring manager. Now, at this point, we're assessing systems thinking, creative thinking, and leadership style in greater detail. Traditionally, firms have candidates meet with the search committee and then the hiring manager. We reverse that normal order, and the hiring manager is not present because we want frank and honest feedback from the search committee members. I mean, that's why we put together a search committee, to help, not to rubber stamp something they think the hiring manager would approve. We don't want the search committee's decision to be swayed by politics, because siding with the boss adds nothing to the process. So the hiring manager is absent, and the search committee has no idea who the hiring manager prefers. In some cases, all 3 candidates who meet the hiring manager will go before the search committee, but usually we bring this down to 2 with the hiring manager's input. In this case, the candidate then meets with the lead recruiter, the search chair, and the search committee, but not the hiring manager again. Both finalists make a formal presentation to the full search committee as their final interview. They outline their understanding of the position and their plan for their first 100 days in the role. Now, you may well ask, why bother with a candidate presentation? Well, why? Well, quite simply, it's called the Nike factor. This is Steve Curry. He's an American professional basketball player for the Golden State Warriors of the National Basketball Association, for you that aren't basketball fans. Many players and analysts have called him the greatest shooter in NBA history. In 2014-2015, Curry won the NBA Most Valuable Player Award. Player-branded sports equipment, that's why the shoe's there, is a big money maker for athletes and sports equipment makers. Now, Steve switched from Nike, representing him, to Under Armour because of a botched presentation by a senior person at Nike, where they pronounced his name incorrectly, actually had the wrong name on the slide deck, and quite a few other rookie mistakes. Now, was the person who did the presentation at Nike having an off day? Or was Nike the victim of a flawed hiring process? We'll never know. What we do know, though, is that the errors were costly. Curry's move to Under Armour increased Under Armour's valuation by, you ready for this? $14 billion. We verify the candidate's skills, abilities, and values with in-depth 360-degree interviews in the verification process of step number 10. All references are designed to address the specifics of the position being recruited for. In addition, the reference check guide addresses the 10 need-to-know areas of the final candidate's background, including leadership attributes, attitude, and systems and critical thinking skills, as well as work history and accomplishments. These are the reference checks that we designed back in step 2. The lead recruiter conducts all reference checks through a direct phone call with supervisors, peers, and subordinates if we can't meet them face-to-face. And we also encourage our clients to call the references that we've already done directly and verify some, if not all, of the questions and answers. That guide on the screen, Don't Hire a Liar, is free. You're free to download it. It will help. It will help immensely. At the end of the talent assessment process, there's a successful candidate who shares the organization's vision and sensibility. It's as if the chosen candidate was destined by fate to sit across the boardroom table and help the organization achieve its desired future.